Belizean Awakening style. Cause you don't know the things say capitalistic like. There you say. Racial profiling is a serious thing. Burn with racial profiling is making this one a top ranking. Racial profiling is a serious thing. Racial profiling. So the things that you know they judge it. I cannot breathe, living while black. Much less go to Starbucks, living while black. Up against the clan, living while black. Me calling my life in my hand, living while black. Color and my skin we under constant attack master. Race master plan the traffic. All way back with dollars. Look at the rhythm. Me the one drop ya. Movement then just can't stop. I cannot sell water as a POC. Permit party will call the COP. I cannot enter a pool as a POC. Pool patrol ball calling the COP. Clean the park as a POC. Charcoal current will call the COP. If I check into 1AR and be my persuasion cannot be a POC. Racial profiling is a serious thing. Burn with racial profiling. Is making this one a top ranking. Racial profiling is a serious thing. Racial profiling. Them feeling emboldened. Showers them taking is golden. Lips loose like Snowden. Like you don't know, we are the chosen. Them entitled and privileged. Calling other human savages. It's a sacrilege. Getting used as collateral damage. Them overdose upon the couplet. Consumed with disdain and hatred. The masses is kind of being berated. And like that civil war gets started. All due to them policies. Ripping apart families privately owned jails, housing babies. And them sleeping with the enemies. Racial profiling is a serious thing. Burn with racial profiling. Making this one a top ranking. Racial profiling is a serious thing. Racial profiling. So the things that you know they judge it. Name them as Christian. Embodiment of Satan. Like robot them program. To mimic the administration. European. Magician. Deflection. Distraction. Enforcing tariffs and sanctions. Now worry about the five, not the island chain immigration. Applicable only to the black man. What about Kim nuclear radicalization? Fight of the Palestinians. Mass incarceration. No equitable education. All in the peace bout a division. Helping power depopulation. Racial profiling is a serious thing. Racial profiling. Making this one a top ranking.
I mean, no,
Racial
racial profiling.
Racism is alive and well.
I tell you to go pint. You have to drink the roots tonic, and them and they drink it like water. But you don't really know the formula.
Reading it. I tell this boy. You're supposed to drink this thing tonic. You want to free money. What? Fuck all. Reading it.
Greetings in the name of all that is good. Good evening. I am G. Michael Reed, live from Belize City. Big up CY in the studio, flipping the switches and sending the links and making sure everything is everything. I'm hearing you, though, CY in the background. You have to mute the mic for me. Uh, CY, I hear you in the background. All right. Yeah, man. All right. We're on every Thursday evening. It is the last day of April. Goodbye, April. Hello, May. May Day. Tomorrow's a holiday in Belize and in many, I believe as many as 90 other countries throughout the world. More on that later. First of all, our show is interactive. We invite you to participate. Send us a message, whatever comments you might want to make on what is being discussed. Or if you want to raise new issues, you're welcome to do so. We hold no bars. We have no sacred cows, no scapegoats, no fear or favor, no agendas, personal, religious, political, otherwise. We deal with the issues straight up front. A couple of matters we get into these. We're expecting to be joined by a couple of our co-hosts. There he is, private citizen Jeremy Spooner. I wonder that look like New York jersey. Is that it? New York Knicks. I tell you, boy, every racist I know is a Celtic fan. I wonder why.
I just knew you were going to say
That's
that.
true. That's true. Don't
you
you
are so easy to bait.
don't you know that? So you put that on to bait me.
I put that on to bait your
All right,
ass.
you win.
Because
Hold up. You win. You win. I'm caught. But it is true. Most races I know are Celtics fans. I'm just saying that. You don't believe that?
All the other teams are racist. The Boston Celtics, them and the Grizzlies are the only two teams in the NBA that practice DEI. Diversity, equality, and inclusion. All the rest are black players. Boston can field 3 to 4 white guys and win. Same thing with the Grizzlies. But all the rest of the other teams are racist. So you want to talk about racism? Make me talk about racism.
Racist.
Boston Celtics are DEI. Watch their teammates.
What do you mean the other ones are racist? That they
because they don't practice DEI.
You mean they have too many black guys?
Well, you said, that's why they say the Celtics are racist, because
it's because from the days of Larry Bird and Danny Ainge and Red Holzman.
You know who I like Parrish. Parrish was my player. I love Parrish.
He may look like they are monsters.
He looked like the chief. They call him the chief. He looked like a black Indian.
Anyway, let us welcome our guests.
Left my Celtics alone. Stop calling me goddamn racist. All right?
Partiality. We're going on. How you go?
Yes. Spooners and G Mike.
Yes,
Thank you for inviting me.
Do you believe the Celtics are a racist team?
No.
Okay.
I love the Celtics and I love the rivalry in the days of Lakers and the Celtics.
You was a racist too.
One time, yeah.
I like Chicago Bulls. Was my
I was there when Michael won the first three in 1990 to 94.
They never liked him at all. The Celtics didn't like him because they couldn't win when he was around. So how far are they now? They're in the playoffs now, no? Are they playing tonight, Spooners? Is that why you put that?
Yes, it's the fifth game. The fifth game, they're playing in Philadelphia. Boston leads 3-2. They gave it away. They should have won. They won 2 in a row in Philadelphia. They went back to Boston, and they were way ahead, and then they just lost their lead, and they lost the game the other day. So they're back in Philadelphia right now, and that's where it's at. So I'm just rooting some positive vibes, sending their way. I want them to finish the game
tonight. You go.
Who are the other two Knicks in the Eastern Division that's in there? The Knicks are there, right?
The Knicks are
You know
still in.
something?
Yes.
I'm so focused on the Boston Celtics. I know to worry about the other teams right now. But once they beat Philly, then I'll take note. I know the Lakers are in there. You know, they're on the
Yeah,
Western.
in the West, yeah. They're still in, yeah.
But you don't know who the Knicks are playing.
No, I can ask. You know,
Okay.
They're playing tonight, but they're still there. It's still the first round, remember?
Yeah. Just that was I haven't been following it actually. I was a big fan for many, many years, and I realized no, that just want distraction away from the issues that are happening. People get tired of and you know that funny thing, they go from one to the other. They go from basketball to football to baseball. I mean, I just want continuous cycle, and you just keep and there are people who live their whole lives in sports team, man.
that
And
remark
Yeah.
you made about my Celtics, my friend Matty Fitzgerald, may he rest in peace, Boston boy, knew his sport. He tell me anytime when I come to that racist thing there, tell them this. He said, who was the first team to start a black starter? Boston Celtics. Who was the first team to start 5 black players? Boston Celtics. Who was the first team to hire a black coach? Boston Celtics. So, G-Man, keep your
do
mouth
you?
shut.
Oh, you have evidence of that? I mean,
Oh, yes, man.
that
Go
is
look it up.
proven fact.
Yes,
Have,
yes.
have,
It,
have
it,
you
it's a
researched
fact.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yes,
you
the
know,
man have more ring than his finger for hold.
hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
The most famous comment by any racist person is many of my friends are black. I have many black friends. I have a black friend over there, a black friend
Who
over
said that?
there. But
Who said
most
that?
racist people will say that. Most they will tell you most of my friends are black.
That's just stupid white
And
people. They don't realize that that's offensive. They're just stupid. They just want to prove a point that they're not and they got black friends.
but
I hear that all
that's
the
it.
time. Oh, my best friend are black, you know?
That's what I'm saying. So you
But,
all right.
but
So
it
you
doesn't mean
know
they're
said
racist for G-Mac. You're reading too much
it
into
doesn't
it.
mean they're racist.
It doesn't mean they're racist. You're just reading too much into it. They're naive. They don't live around black people. I grew up all around black people. I understand black
Uh,
people. Me not afraid I know, you know. Then white people out there
uh,
afraid I know. Me not afraid I know. I know, know.
talk shit. I ain't got nothing to say.
Especially the one that look like you, that like high yellow. Especially know.
Yeah, so
You
anyway,
are Creole, no think you know better. Yeah.
yeah, you come on with a chip on your shoulder, I'll knock it
Big
off.
shit by mahogany log.
I'm your huckleberry.
Please introduce
I'm
me
your
to Mr. Ironclad. Who's Mr. Ironclad?
I'm your huckleberry. Don't worry, we good.
We good. Please introduce
Ironclad,
your guest to me.
how should we address you? And give us give us Ironclad personality. What are the moniker?
Yeah, just that good. Just like how schoolers that are AKA, you are G. My gosh, G Mike. AKA. Same thing. I am glad that AKA. Personality that AKA. My name that person Louis. When I call a birth register name, no?
Yeah,
Government name.
your slave name.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, look at that.
Percy Lewis.
Look at
Uh-huh.
that expression of
That
look at
is
that
name, but
expression of it.
I go by Percy.
You so
I go by
easy to
Percy.
beat, boy. Anyway, not beat the man like that. Not beat him like that. Give us a background about Percy. Whether you claim to fame, what are you? I know you're doing some live from time to time. You're into the content creation for now.
Yeah. Well,
Hello.
first of all,
Internet's been giving me trouble
I
lately.
salute you guys on the show because I've been observing you from a distance. I've been living in Belize City before independence because in Haiti, when I graduated high school there in the south, ecumenical Danviga, we never have 6 farms, so I had to migrate to Belize City for that. So then, so I used to go there Henry Young Island, they go watch basketball and them boys. boxing, and the sun and the light. But when the country got independence, I was working with the first U.S. Ambassador Barnaby, there, Gabriel Lane and Heights Lane. They asked me to come there and work, but Spooners, they took me away from Nigel Price, the wing commander who owned Price and Company before he sold it. I don't know if it was for $1 to the then Prime Minister, the late, Esquivel. So
Esquivel,
that is my career path. And yeah, I'm happily retired. But one of my pet peeves is the Belize Guatemala territorial dispute, where I met Lisa and the family, Assad, the greats, and it's a very narrow expert field. And I was fortunate in 2016 to catch a wave when they thought that our BDF had killed the little fellow, the young boy in Chiquibull Forest. So I wrote a book about that, and I'm happy that the dispute will come to an end. Hopefully, the verdict will be out December. So I'm anticipating that. And that's one of the things that I track.
The verdict about about what? The BDF as
territorial dispute, ICJ.
You mean
Guatemala.
But you kind of confused me there, because you said there's something happened when the BDF supposedly killed a young boy.
Right. At that time, that was 2016 in Chiquibull. Right. They thought the BDF, they accused. And remember, at the time, we had a lot of Belizean Americans who were protesting there in diaspora in front of our embassy and the consulates. And then they asked, the Creole were asking for them to shut down Cabana. Remember that 2016? Barrow was out of the country, signing a Paris Agreement in New York. And then the Payaso Guatemalan president put 3,000 Kabilas on our Southern border. You remember that incident? I wrote a book about it. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah. But all right, but what verdict is come? You mean what the verdict that you're talking about? Though is the World Court talking about the claim, the Guatemalan claim, right? They're going to settle. Yes. Gonna come up, we should have a verdict. You said by December. Now, of course,
that's what they are saying.
They keep on to push it down the road because it was supposed to have been December last year, from where I'm here. But apparently, they cleared the calendar now and they got some space for us. How do you think that? What do you think about that? How do you think it is going?
Well, the delay had to do with Belize suing Honduras, so Honduras could put in its claim for the keys that it said belong. Making a claim on the keys, so Chapadilla keys. So that is the delay, because the case has to be once and for all, and zero-sum game winner takes all. So
no, you knock off your mic, Sonny. We're not hearing you. Something, somebody mute you. I don't say mute on you. I don't know how going on there. See why?
Testing.
There you go. You're back. You're back.
Hello.
Where do you? I hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay.
Just to let you know, G-Mike, I'm having problems with my internet. It keeps going in and out. Okay, there's been problems the last few days, so just be aware of that.
I find that it's been troublesome on a whole. I mean, it hasn't been as reliable as it was earlier. No, I don't know what. I don't know. In fact, I find that as soon as it's smart and BTL controversy came up the other day. We started having problems with internet, and I don't know if that one leading or what I call it a false flag, which I said to her for make way, either give in and agree to it or whatever gonna do. But anyway, so we're back to that, and that should be settled. Are they're gonna try all the cases together? Is that it? They're going to try the Guatemala, Honduras, and Belize case
Yes.
together. But you said something. Winner
Yes.
takes all. You said winner takes all, but then it couldn't be such a scenario because Honduras is not claiming all of Belize for sure. They're just claiming the Zapadilla Keys, right?
Apparently, yes.
What I was referring to was the 2008 special agreement between Belize and Guatemala, brokered by the OAS, which states that Guatemala has to make its complete claim for insular keys, maritime, and the territory. It can't come back and say, I may only claim half. No, I'll come back and claim the other half. It's the decision will be final, and he only could make one claim once and for all. With respect to Honduras, Honduras is only joining the case when it comes to the maritime portion.
What is your take on the way it sits now? How is it looking to you? Are our chances good or our chances weak?
Well, as former Prime Minister Said said, the case ironclad, man. That's where I borrowed the name. The case is ironclad. Guatemala knows it doesn't have a leg to stand on, but they want ICJ to bail the cat because it's treasonous for them to do it. They tried, remember when in the 90s, when the president came here, eat Sonia Tanbon, and then when he got back only to be exiled to Panama, President S as in something S as in what name? Serrano, right. So likewise here in Belize,
but
our position is a one no blade, will not give one blade of grass. So similarly, our position here is no negotiation. Well, it used to be.
Were you in favor or against going to the ICJ?
100% in favor because I got set out. I was intimate with the facts.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that people don't pay attention to is the fact that Serrano did acknowledge Belize's independence. And like you said, they said
that's right.
They put him out after that. But the case was taken before the Guatemalan Supreme Court, and the verdict came down that he had every right to do what he did. So we're in a good position, indeed. Spooner, where did you stand on that? You see, it set you up on that to tell we the internet to get trouble so that when it comes to a question you don't have to answer, then it could run. But no, I'm kidding. I'm sure you come back in.
Yeah.
I was reading. I posted the other day the 1859 treaty between Belize and Guatemala, and that treaty was clear that the borders were demarcated, agreed upon, ratified.
Yes.
And then they said, well, their problem was that we had not built a cart road that we had promised. However, as I pointed out in Article 7, that did not say you have to build a cart road. They say some means for them, cart road or otherwise means of getting to the sea. And in fact, right now we have what, 3 or 4 roads leading to Guatemala from the sea. So I don't think that I don't think they have a leg to stand on, and I don't think we have much to be afraid of, really. So we
That
might
that matter
go ahead. Go ahead.
that matter became a mute point when they signed the 2008 special agreement with the class without the class X at K at Bono. Guatemala gave up the right of the ICJ using discretion in determining who owns it. So that's what the term means, that the judges, even if they found that the road wasn't built and they wanted to give compensation, they don't have that liberty based on the agreement, the 2008 special agreement. They have to rule strictly by the law,
Um, no, what?
international law.
Refresh my memory about this 208 agreement that you're speaking about. Um, it was signed between who? Britain and Guatemala, Belize and
When it,
Guatemala.
what happened, it was drafted by the Musa administration going into a general election, which Barrow won just after the agreement was made with Guatemala.
Mhm.
The Barrow administration found it to be a very good agreement for Belize, and thus, in the name of the then Foreign Minister Ellington, went on to sign it in December of 2008. In Washington OAS headquarters. So that is what happened. Because as Prime Minister, former Prime Minister Musa keeps saying that we keep outmaneuvering Guatemala. We keep outmaneuvering Guatemala, even in that agreement. One of the reasons that came about too is because the statute of limitation ran out in 94 or so when the BDF left. 50 years, after 50 years, that the Guatemalans had from the time the ICJ set up in 44.
Let me
Same time UN set up after World War II. They had an opportunity to take the matter to the ICJ and they failed. And so for 50 years to about 94, when the British departed Belize, it was because the statute of limitation had run out on Guatemala to have taken the case to ICJ.
All right. Let me welcome to the show Gregory Morrison, the fourth peg on this stool. Spooner was in earlier, Greg, but he had to. It looked like the internet to get in trouble.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
and I it might have been the heat. I put too much heat on him for coming in a Celtics jersey, but I think I'm sure he'll pop back in at some point.
Okay, good.
Greg, you familiar with any of this story? I know you had some sentiments about this.
The,
Were you
the, the, the Guatemalan dispute and ICJ.
right? You were you in favor or against
Well,
going to the ICJ?
initially, I thought it was. This is the way I view it. I was not in favor or against it. What I thought that happened, I thought the prime minister pulled some extraordinary measures to make it happen without um, it
Consultation.
with no, because remember he went to the Supreme Court and he did some maneuvering to stop the referendum that would have caused that to trigger before we could go to the ICJ, and he changed the percentage that would have triggered it. So I was kind of disappointed that about that maneuver, but I was for whatever the this majority of citizens would have wanted in terms of
moving this issue forward. That's how I had viewed it. So I was
I
not opposed to it, on a, just overly. Yeah.
I remember something happening there, and as far as I'm glad you remember how did he change the concept the rules
Well, no, well, Mr. Morrison is on point. I don't remember the specifics of the matter in court regarding the referendum, but
Yes.
remember that we have a group of friends that have been sponsoring the process through the OAS, and they kept saying to Belize and Guatemala, look, this money they dry up, this opportunity now and they have forever. And they are also the ones then sponsoring the matter uh, in verification at the border with Guatemala, with the squatting that were taking place and so on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Guatemala backed out of the first referendum after they had paid for it in both countries. And that fell because Guatemala backed out of the first one. Then they pay again. They pay again, but they said this is it now. This is the last time, and what the condition in the special agreement is that the referendum, as Mr. Morrison infer, has to be passed democratically in both countries for it to stand. Not in either one, but in both countries. So that happened. Yeah.
but that wasn't a matter that went to court. I think he raised the threshold that
Yes.
instead
He
of
lowered it. He lowered it. He lowered it.
he lowered it.
He lowered it.
I
He
thought he had
made
raised
it.
it.
Yeah. No, he made it 56% instead of 66%, I think, or 55%.
Majority, yes, yeah, pass the post.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you think that might have swayed the yes vote?
Yes. No, it didn't sway the yes. It changed. It made it just pass with a majority or with a lesser requirement
Roger the
than.
majority.
Yeah.
I hear, but I'm wondering though. You think that if they needed 66 or 65%, that it might not have gotten the
It would not have
majority?
passed. Would not have passed. It did not pass with 65 or 66%. It passed with some 56 or 57%. That's how it had passed. And that's here or there now. But I think what he had done more importantly was how he had corrupted our court system to make that measure pass. That was what I thought was blatant miscarriage of our justice system. I don't remember the exactly what he did, but I was pretty upset at the time of some measures he took in terms of making sure that the court would pass the would agree with his change when they made that change.
Let's be honest though, Greg, because around that time you were talking about PUP government and PUP prime minister, right? Said Musa.
No, this was Dean Barrow. This was
Dean
Dean
Barrow,
Barrow.
and you were upset with Dean about the change he made. That's interesting, yeah.
Well, but I'm not just partisan. I believe in the Constitution, and I believe in the legal process, and I believe in the protection of the people and the rights of the people under the Constitution.
Interesting.
You
And
might want to start to label people.
speaking of partisan, Spooner is back.
Yes.
So,
Good to see you. I like the hat.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good
oh
evening.
my God, here we go. No, we're gonna start that far. Anyway,
Yeah, I don't know. The internet seems to be working now. Well, it gone off on the TV, but so you might have me in and out. Okay.
all right.
Good to see you.
Okay.
Well, so the game, you can't watch the game.
Can't watch the game. No.
Well, you're not going to watch the game while they talk to. Anyway, that kind of like.
No, I just have it in the background. I can chew gum and walk.
Anyway,
Go ahead.
I'm going ahead. Don't worry about it. So listen, maritime year is up. I am
Right.
Well, how that fit in and what you think about that?
Well, as Mr. Morrison said, you know, all is well that ends. He inferred, all is well that ends well. So, because the Maritime Areas Act was self-inflicted, then we could repeal it, or you may have another term, language that you use for that. But that's basically what happened.
Wait. It was
Going
self-inflicted.
before depositing the matter at the ICJ after the referendum passed, we nullify the maritime areas,
Could we
which
do
would
that
have
though?
given
Because
them
We didn't do that.
We did
I
that.
don't, I
We
don't
did
think we
that.
could do it. I don't think we could have done that
No,
because
we
that
didn't
was
do
an
it.
agreement between the two countries.
Yeah.
And in
No,
fact, that
it was not.
is why
No, it
Serrano
was not an agreement. It was
wasn't.
not an agreement. It was not a treaty. It was not a
Hold
treaty.
on. Let me ask you
It was a
something.
law.
Let me ask you
It was just
something.
a law.
Let me ask you something. Wasn't it based on that Serrano did acknowledge Belize's independence? Wasn't it because we had come to an agreement with the Maritime Areas Act?
No, we did that after we had agreement with him. That's when we did the
What
Maritime Area Act. But it was in
the
furtherance of
the
what
the
we
the,
were doing.
the situation in the 90s was appeasement, but it was quid pro quo, as you're inferring, because it took the relationship between the two countries to diplomatic levels so they could speak to each other directly. Guatemala then establishing an embassy in Belize and vice versa, Belize establishing an embassy in Guatemala. Prior to that, they were talking through third party. So the Serrano thing did that. It took the relationship between the Belize and, in addition, Guatemala recognized Belize sovereignty. So that was a we score.
Yeah, that was
So we
big.
score because they didn't recognize Belize sovereignty in spite of the 1980 every year from 75 to 80, Belize had been getting the UN to pass resolution, the 80 resolution, which the United States itself under Carter also voted for in favor of, said give Belize independence with territory intact, with its sovereignty, notwithstanding the parties, which include the British, Belize, Guatemala, must resolve the dispute. So that was a condition put into the resolution. Resolve the dispute. So they tried to resolve it with the thing when we filed March 80, the heads of agreement. But we went on in September to get our independence. But we still needed to resolve the dispute. So we are doing that now at the ICJ. Because we had tried all other measures. We had tried negotiation, we had tried mediation, we had tried bilateral talks, etc. We had tried appeasement. The maritime areas is like an appeasement. All of them failed. Because Guatemala come from a dictatorship background. Guatemala not honest in a dealing.
You use the term self-inflicted.
They remove the goalpost.
You use the term self-inflicted.
The Maritime Areas Act was just a law. It was just a law.
Let me finish.
It was just a law. A law can be repealed. A law can be repealed.
Was it unilaterally done? I mean, just we and they
no. The difference between a law, legislation, and a treaty is that a treaty, one country can back out of it by itself. The two countries have to agree to follow the treaty.
Right.
But Maritime Areas was not a treaty. But it was just a law that Belize passed. Right. so we could have repealed it. Just like how we had repealed you may know about the
So,
bloody SIS. Hello, SIS.
hold on, not go so fast. Not go, you confuse me. Which spoon I know not too hard for you. Listen,
You could repeal, man.
you're saying that a law, one side could back out of it, and it's okay. But a treaty, one side can't. It takes two sides to back out. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's correct.
Right,
All right.
right.
And this was a law passed by which country?
Belize, our National Assembly passed that the
Maritime
Maritime
Areas
Area
Act.
the Maritimes Area Act, which gave
Right, but
a
it
portion
also,
of
but it's spell it in there. It's spell it in there that the purpose of the Maritime Areas Act was to help keep the relationship going. So now that keep negotiations halt when the two countries pass the referendum, the negotiation stop. Then the court procedure begin. So since the negotiation stopped, we no longer needed the Maritime Areas Act because that was a tool to help with negotiation.
yeah, the Maritimes Area Act was basically the agreement we had where we forego our full territorial seas to allow Guatemala access to
But you see, you're saying
9 out of 12
agreement.
miles.
Agreement.
9 out
This
of
is
12
where,
miles.
well, we only took three. We only
yeah.
took
Right.
three miles.
9 out of 12
But
they got. Right.
an agreement with
Use,
who?
use and enjoy.
An agreement with who, Gregory?
With Guatemala. What we said,
So,
what
so
we
it was
did.
an agreement.
No, 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 not no, you're
No,
using the word agreement. What we did,
it
we
was a
passed a
law.
law on our side without any input or anything, just as
We
a
just
good
decided to
neighbor.
give that up and just keep tree and give them access to the high seas,
That's
which
correct.
which
That's
I mean
correct.
a goodwill
Yes.
gesture. You're saying,
That's correct. That's correct.
Yes.
and but we backed out of that and we
No,
decided we
and
don't
we
do
haven't
that
backed
again.
out of it. We haven't changed our constitution. We haven't changed that law in our books. That law is still on our books. That was one of the reasons why Mr. Goldson had broke away from the UDP in that period when he formed NBR, because he was saying Guatemala is not doing what they're saying they're going to do, and so we're going to break away. So we never did change our laws to reflect that. And so I believe that that will be an issue when we go to ICJ, and they will say, Belize, you willingly gave up that portion of your territory, and as a good nature to just keep things going, you forever have lost that. That's how I'm thinking the ICJ will rule, because I view them always as a court that tried to reach a compromise between states. And so, and I don't think that's the worst thing, because we were willing to do that to
But
bring
that, but
about
yeah,
as
that's what I'd like to look at though, because it kind of like them unselfish move, and we're saying that Guatemala, you need the high seas, you can use the high seas, but you can't claim it. Not enough for
no, no,
you,
no. We
but
gave it to them. We gave
you
it to them.
gave it to them.
We gave it to
I
them.
don't I don't
No,
think
no,
that
No,
was
we
no,
gave
no,
it to
no,
them.
no, no.
I don't think
No,
so
we gave
No,
it
either.
to
no, no,
them.
no.
No,
We
is
gave
that
it to them.
AI working,
No,
Spooner?
no,
No, we only claimed
No.
three.
no, no.
We only claimed three. We gave them the other nine.
But that's
They
not giving it to them. We're not giving them. We
no,
We
didn't.
no,
give
no.
them
They were
access. We give them
give them
access. We give them
yes,
access.
a
No, it
different
was more
thing.
than access. It was more than access, Percy.
No,
No, we gave
Morrison,
it to
no.
them. We said we are only claiming nine. If you say I am entitled to
No,
12,
three out of 12.
I'm only claiming three. I'm only claiming three. It means that the other person has the claim of the other nine.
No.
No,
That's
no,
not
no.
how that went. I'm certain that's not how that went.
That's how
No,
it goes. That's
it
we
was
use the
supposed to
argument.
be neutral territory between the three
No,
countries.
no, it wasn't. And not, the problem we did in that is that there's a claim that gives you also financial, like whatever is found in that resource of that sea, they are entitled to. We actually gave it up. I know for
No, we
certain.
did not. No, 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 we did not. No, we
Okay,
definitely did not. What
okay.
happened? Belize never gave it up. The evidence is that at the border keys, the same Sapodilla keys, we have Belize have always had immigration and customs.
That's
So
a
when
different
the
issue.
Guatemalans
Issue.
they visit those border keys, they have to flash their passport.
Yeah,
So
of course, and
we never give it to them. We give them access to it.
that's not my understanding of it, and so I stand to be corrected with evidence.
We'll
What?
have to.
Okay.
Where is AI when we need it?
Yeah, we
Unfortunately,
need. Yeah, we
yeah,
need it.
Spooner would usually be pulling that one, but look at the internet, really to get in trouble.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Plus the Celtics game the answer, and I think a good
Oh,
excuse.
God, the Celtics.
Yeah, no, but there was a situation where it's still bubbling. I mean, and it kind of stepped back to the back burner for a bit now as other issues have come forward. But I think that's something
Uh,
that once the court decide, well, make us start to hear this case, um, we'll be
um,
back involved.
no, you see, that will not be an issue. What the Guatemalans are trying to do to make an issue of is the situation at the Sarstoon border. They are trying to establish effective control so they could make a case in ICJ that they have administration over that border point. You see, because the Guatemalans have never administered over Belize. Even the 1798 imbroglio, whether it was a battle, and if it was a battle, then we win by force of arms. If it was just a skirmish, then they acquiesce, so we still win. 1798. But the Spaniards never came back. But when they did come, they came to Mexico, which was their captaincy general, not Guatemala. So Guatemala has never had administration
Okay,
over Belize ever,
I have exactly
ever.
what we have in the Maritime Area Act from AI. It says in 1992, the Maritime Area Act, Belize voluntarily reduced its southern territorial sea claim from 12 nautical miles to 3 nautical miles. So we gave it up.
No, that's not the same thing, though, Greg.
No, no, it
That's
says
not the
Belize
great.
No,
voluntarily reduced.
no.
We're claiming 3. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean we're giving up the rest. The rest is being able to is our international waters. Then that
No, it's not.
basically
We
make
gave
it
it to
neutral. There's nobody has claim to it. Because at the end of the day, we couldn't get 12 anyway, and Honduras get 12 and Guatemala get 12.
No, no, no. We
Correct?
had 12. We had 12. There, at that point, there's enough sea in front of us that we could have claimed our true territorial waters and our economic zone waters.
We could get 12 and Honduras get
No,
12.
no.
I
At that
remember.
particular no, at that particular area where that sea was, there was enough to get our 12 and our economic zone, which is another 200 miles.
G Mike,
Uh-huh.
G Mike, I saw you in the week posing with Mr. Fairweather. The late Judge Lang was the one who helped Belize under Esquivel. He was on the first court for the maritime at the sea. UNCLOS, United Nations Law of the Sea. I visited his office in Germany. He helped Belize claim its territorial waters as well as its 250 nautical miles. So he helped write the legislation for Belize. So I just wanted to mention that and to because you
So
can confirm with your friend, the Fairweather fellow. He probably has a wealth of history if he's still around. But Belize was only able to repeal just like we repeal the SIS thing, that's not that language we use because I am not an attorney, but that's in effect what they did because it was self-inflicted. The Maritime Areas Act was, but what Belize has to pay attention to, and it already has, is the Saskatoon matter because what we did to nip it is to put one base there and then to keep traversing it, to keep establishing effective control over it. And Guatemala keep intimidating, provoking, because they are trying to make the case to the ICJ that they have effective control of that area. So that's where the battle really is at this point. And what Belize could have done, but I guess we haven't yet done it because maybe the need had not arisen in the minds of the actors, is to ask the ICJ to put one foot on Guatemala, where you call it thing where so they can't come from we side. We call the thing. Now that the matter is at the ICJ, we could ask them for an injunction.
Restraining order?
Injunction, yeah.
Okay.
Ask the ICJ for injunction so Guatemala stay on her damn side of the Saskatoon.
But I don't know. Maybe we could just say that what they're going to look at, the facts they're going to look at, is up to the point when we went to court. So they're trying to establish that now shouldn't play a role one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at it based upon the time where we went to the court and was submitted, and the court then looks at that. So I don't see a big problem with that. I have a problem with the delaying this because it just you wonder whether the wait pan. You know what I mean?
The ICJ.
It seems an open and shut case to me.
It is an open and shut case, but they have a lot of work. So they schedule the matter and they're doing it incrementally. And remember, they turn over judges too, so the 12 or 15 judges, they replace a few of them. But it is surely going to happen. It already going on 5 years, almost, or just about a little over. But it is what it is. But we are definitely on a short path. But Mike, what you had mentioned is that the treaty 1859 included, and then we have another one, the 1931 exchange of notes. Then the ironclad man, once a treaty has been established, with the borders in there, you can't change the border. You can't change the border, including the Saskatoon border.
How do you respond to people who say that even if the ICJ rules in our favor, Guatemala will not respect it? In particular, when we see how Donald Trump has been acting behind dictates from the ICJ.
Well, the African Bakassi case has a precedent there in that the United Nations peacekeeping force, they kick in after the verdict if we have or hiccup with Guatemala where they don't want to obey the ruling of the court. Then the peacekeeping force will enforce it. They have the tool. That is the tool they have to enforce it. They did it in the Bakassi case.
I hear what you're saying, but the same thing has been passed regarding Gaza. I mean, the court has that tool there too. And when they are blocking aids and whatnot from going in, there's that tool available to them for them to override that, even override a veto to make sure that people don't suffer the way they have. But we still see what is happening. So how are we going to be assured that Guatemala will abide by the ruling?
We are not assured. and that is the purview of our government. It's our government, um, because we don't have a signed um, military security agreement. In the event there's the threat of an invasion or an actual invasion from the British, United States, or any other. So that is the purview of the government to have had that as a check valve, right? It because there's certainly going we can expect hiccup when the verdict come out. Not for long, but it the initial. Because in the long run, the weight of the international community is going to weigh in, given Guatemala wants to change its image in the international community from being a dictator and a bully. And it have, when I was there in foreign affairs, we signed at least 14 agreements with trade agreements with Guatemala. So there's too much at stake for Guatemala. As well, Belize. I mean, if we could have changed them from being our neighbors, that would have been the easiest solution. But we share water catchments. So if there's a disease or the water get poisoned, or they don't have disease, don't have border. So we have to exchange security information about drugs, about so gangs and things like that. We together in SICA, we together in the UN, together in OS. So what I'm saying is that Guatemala itself wants its case behind it, but it don't have it chooses not for it to just, because it's written into their 1940 or so constitution. So it can't just Adele Ramos and Jules had asked this in 2008. They had asked the ambassador in Washington, Guatemala ambassador, about that, and it told them that Belize will win, and Guatemala can win. So Adele asked him, well, why are we not going? So because we can't just drop the claim.
They want to see a face.
Well, I don't think that was official. I've heard that commentary before, but I don't think that was ever an official communication by the government of Guatemala. So we have to take that with a grain of salt, as in terms of international pronouncing that. What I do believe is that Guatemala, depending on the administration in power at the time, in office at the time, would like to resolve this. And I think if they get a ruling that disfavors them, they will agree to settle and to move on. Because I think, like you said, sir, I don't think it serves them internationally to be constantly going against this when they're trying to change their image. And because it's written in their constitution, they're kind of forced to adhere to it, and no politician could easily disavow it without getting some real higher up verdict that would clear them politically. We saw what happened with the previous president of Guatemala that tried to step it aside, how he was booted off office.
Serrano.
So, yeah. So there are some real concerns politically for the individuals, for their safety, and for their political survivability that threatens them just kind of disavow it on their own.
I remember sitting and listening to the current president of Guatemala. He's a paraplegic, right? I believe I saw him at the UN.
The current president, I don't think so.
Yes, man, I think he is. I'm pretty sure. You have to check and that for me too. But the way he was speaking, and I listened to it, he sounded very much like he wanted to put this behind him. You're absolutely right on that one person. It sounded to me like he's saying, well, and he spoke of us as our neighbors Belize, not our a part of or the rogue country or anything like that. So it's looking good. It looks good for us, and I'm with you. I believe it might indeed be ironclad. We can only
Well,
hope. Now,
we also have military to military, our BDF top brass and their Guatemalan army top brass. They have powwows. They meet and they so that is going on, and then the relationship on the diplomatic level is going on. Those are our strongest tools at this point.
all right. So
So yeah, yeah.
at that level, but let me ask you a very pertinent question. Are Belizeans ready to put this behind us?
Our Belizeans, I
Are we
cannot
gonna?
speak. What I would more be inclined to speak like how Brother Mercy alluded earlier. There, every Belizean should be concerned, but given timely and adequate information, which sometimes is short supply. So, like going to the ICJ and the referendum process, they did a lot of education there. That's what Belizeans need right now. We need a blow by blow, because they allow like you are a journalist. They allow journalists at the ICJ case. They're in the Hague. So we need. The other day, Assad was on the media, and the media missed an opportunity to ask him for the latest. The foreign minister should. There are rules that officially they can't talk about the case, while but then there are ways, and there are ways to get pertinent information out to the public. And once the trials start and they are about to go into that phase of the deliberation, the media will be there or should be there and give the Belizean people in diaspora and at home blow by blow. That's what the people need, G Mike. Hello, hello.
Well, we did see that to some degree when they had that case presentation with Honduras and Guatemala and
Yes,
Belize. They were trying to
yes,
include them in it, and that was a
yes,
very good and interesting. I don't know if you had get to see that, G Mike,
yes,
but
yes, yes,
No,
yes.
I say it again. They had a media. The media was there.
the media was, well, they presented it on the TV, it
Okay.
was available in a public forum to kind of
I I am
do that hearing.
I am hoping that if they send someone, or they should, and whoever they send, they would have prepared themselves beforehand to be able to really understand what is going on and then pass that information on in a language that all of us can understand. A
You
lot
know,
of time, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was going to say this is international and this is a big case. The resolution of this and how it gets played out is going to be broadcast by all the world media once we get to those points. So I don't think it is going to be anything stifled up that we will not have the information and a good blow commentary of what's going on. I think it will be, this is a big case how this gets to rule, because it will set a lot of precedents for some of this very similar case. They have a similar case with Guyana and
And
Venezuela,
Venezuela, yeah.
and there's some other cases in the Caribbean that has very similar tenets of where the assumption is that it was, I forgot how they call it, but person knows, where they take over the rule from the sovereign of Spain, um, to the lower country that inherited the territory.
Do you have confidence in the ICJ, Gregory, that they will do the
Well,
right thing?
I have I have confidence that they'll rule, but as I said, I believe that the ICJ is a court that tries to find an even balance. They don't want war and they don't want anybody to be so upset about a ruling, right? That it will trigger violence. So
But that wouldn't be fair though.
but that's how they have ruled in the past in many instances. So they represent a kind of a court that I call a compromise court. So that's why I said, because we had went ahead and allowed the Maritime Areas Act of our own abolition, I believe that the ICJ, when they make their ruling, will say, Belize, Guatemala is entitled to gain access to the high seas, and you already, on your own opposition, gave them that right. So we are going to let that stand. That's how I think they will rule, and that's what I really think is the extent of the territory that Guatemala will actually gain from Belize. We have the I can't. What's the other one where we have the border that we set up the line and we move it? We allow that free part on either side of the border. Personally,
Adjacency zone.
adjacent zone. I think that becomes a little bit troubling too, because Guatemala has, while Belize have not encroached on Guatemala's territory in that instance, Guatemalans have over many years encroached on Belize territory. So I think that becomes a little questionable whether we will be able to get back, because they have in some instances built up villages and occupation and have done many things in that boundary area. And I think we could be in time lose some of that also as part of um, how I view the operation of this court.
At the end of the day, I am looking forward to a day when we can live as neighbors. Guatemala has 18 million people, a sizable market for anything that Belize can produce or any kind of art or whatever we have to sell. I think we're losing a precious opportunity in not capitalizing on that. And many Belizeans, to me, seem to want to keep this going. And it's something when you have that hatred or that doubt or that fear within you for so long, it becomes almost a part of you. That like even though it's good for you losing it, you will miss it in some way. So I'm on tough situation we're looking at there. But it's time we move on. Jeremy, I've not been saying much about this. Have you no opinion
No,
on this
because
one?
I'm having trouble with my internet and I keep losing your conversation.
Yeah. I I
Um,
I, I
but my,
do
my,
think.
my take on Guatemala is that we have not been the aggressor at all. We have been the one that's always at the end of the stick. They're
Mhm.
always messing with us. They
Yeah.
either coming into the Sarstoon, they had planned invasion, they were going to come into Belize,
Mhm.
so, of course we're going to feel this way about them. We don't trust them, you know.
Yeah. And you're right that Guatemala has all these opportunities and stuff to share. And there is a big trade that goes along in Belize with Guatemala. We buy a lot of their products. We have a
Yes,
lot of their business people have own businesses and operate businesses. We have a lot of their citizens in our country right now that
yeah,
we have made citizens quite illegally and contrary to our constitution. So
yes,
we
correct.
are at a kind of a disadvantage of them, and I believe that over time they have encroached in ways that put our sovereignty at great risk.
Yeah,
But I believe that if we resolve this, we will be able to work with them if they respect our boundaries. But I think we have made it so possible that right now I think we have maybe like 30 or 40% of our population might be of some Guatemalan extraction. So
That
so
had
it,
that
it
many? Third?
I
I don't think it's that high. I don't think it's that
I
high.
think it's about 30%. I think it's about
Nah,
30%.
nah,
We have right now our population is 57% Hispanic,
Hispanic.
and and between Honduras and Guatemala. Well, no, I'm sorry. Let me back up. Between the two countries that claim us, Honduras. That's where the statistic I'm getting from. Between Honduras and Guatemala, it is about that high of their population. So we are at a kind of a edge where we don't really have our own faith and control to some degree if things was to go against us. Although I think most of the people that have come to Belize from these two countries, they would rather be citizens of Belize than to be citizens of their individual country. So
Well,
there's a
you
hmm?
I knew a guy who used to work for me, who was from Guatemala, and he would tell me that they're happy that there's a country like Belize next door where they can see a different way of life. They say when they come over
Mhm.
here, there's a kind of freedom from what they're accustomed to.
Yes,
So, I think maybe this problem is more at the bureaucratic level and up in the government where they pull out like a political football and throw it in a play whenever some issue comes up that they need to be distracted from, no?
yeah.
Um,
And like
and
Jeremy said, Belize has been hospitable. Belize is not the aggressor. Belize has been accommodating. We take I think they say 900 Guatemalan students into our country every single day. And how we pay for their education, I'm not quite sure if it's shared with Guatemala to some degree. Maybe Percy could tell us that since he was with the foreign ministry
yeah,
department. But we have been very accommodating to them, and we have been for many years. I remember in days when technical was a high school, they had Guatemalan students that came to Belize and from and went to that high school. So
what?
there's lots of and they have been good to us too in terms of higher education. A lot of our students or many of our students goes
Correct.
and study at their university. So the issues we have is mostly with the oligarchs of Guatemala.
But and that's
I
what
was
I
just
was.
going to mention that. I was just going
Yeah,
to mention
I was
that.
going to
Yeah.
tell you that because when Spooner said that they've been aggressive to us, the military has been pushing the border.
The
Uh,
oligarchy, yeah, the ones who control the
yeah,
military.
but the
Yeah.
regular people, because even along the border, those people are intermarrying. Those people
Yes,
trade with one another.
yes,
Like you said, their students come over and go to school, learn English.
yes,
Our students go to universities and become doctors and
yes,
get higher education.
Ye- ye- ye-
Yeah.
Yes, but you see, um, I mean, the panel is onto something. While we're making progress, we also need to secure our borders and give that priority. Because on Guatemalan side, they have villages. On our side, we are the bush for we, so we put BDF when we should have police. Because if you take one piece of Chate or Concon, shoot one Pekere, you know, you can't kill, you can't use live wrong. You know, the punishment has to fit the crime. So we need police on our side of our border with Guatemala. So that's what we have to work on immediately. Immediately.
Where are we gonna
Because
get
they have
that
villages.
personnel? Where you get that
Uh,
personnel? Then? Where you get that
we
personnel?
we have to give it what is happening is a lot of our resources now is consumed with negotiation. We have embassies in the spread across in the world as many as we are able to, and what they are busy with is this Guatemala issue. But when this come to rest now, then we could redirect the funds, right, to i.e. securing the border and things of that
Well,
sort. With the ruling,
we
with
won't
the
need it
ruling,
then. We won't
uh,
need it then. If we settle it, we won't need it then.
yes, yes. But also, right now, the cost of doing business risk is high. But when the ruling come out, that the risk of doing business going down, so investors will be attracted. Also, with the ruling will come the order to demarcate the maritime, which has yet to be done. Um, because it's tripartite, it's just due process. We haven't gotten around to it. With
You're
200 nautical miles continental shelf, aside
you're
from the territorial waters. So that will come with the ruling. And then we'll be able also to drill oil on sea in that space. So it spells prosperity all the way around.
You're
We just have
some
to
would
take care of
say
corruption.
some would say you're being overly optimistic. You seem to be painting a best case scenario, but there are other
I am
possibilities.
not. I am a realist. I am a realist. As a matter of fact, I as much as I would want to see quality of life improve for Belizeans, don't expect it to go back to what it was 15 years ago, like the cost of energy to go down, even as solar come on stream, or we export oil in commercial quantity again. I don't expect cost of living to go down to what it was 15 or even 5 years ago. I'm a realist, Mike and panelists. I'm a realist. But if we could um, continue the free education at the college level, I'd be happy with that.
I kind of missed the link, but nevertheless, um, you're, you're you're a realist in that you believe that this gonna work out in our favor, but times are gonna continue to get tougher. Is that what you're saying? I mean, prices will continue to
I
higher,
am saying
right?
I am saying that the Belizean people at home and abroad need to hold government, whichever government, feet to the fire for transparency and accountability. What they will do with the increase of the economic pipe, there will be an increase because new revenue stream will come when we start to drill oil in the maritime space, when we start to investors pour in that the border with Guatemala as
You
risk of
think
business risk go down.
you
The,
think there's
the,
oil
the,
there?
the, the economic
You
pipe,
think there's oil there?
without
Do
that,
you?
without a doubt, without a doubt.
Most
So
definitely. Most definitely.
we're just not drilling for it.
Yeah. Well, remember we had a referendum some years ago that stopped the seismic study that was going to be going on to kind of determine, and definitely there's oil in that shelf out there.
Yeah, and that was funny thing there. I want to come back to, right, but I want to touch on something that you said about the Guatemalans have villages on their side of the border. We have bush.
Yeah.
Should we maybe now start to develop some communities along the border and have some of our people on the border as opposed to all that reserve? Because that reserve could be, of course, it's not a bad thing, but certainly we could make better use of the land and get some people into farming, no?
That's where the planners we should plan, and I believe ahead of time. So that's where the engineering comes in. And I believe that there is some planning going on, like with the Ministry of Lands and so on. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we have plans for land use and so on, land use policy. But
Yeah.
those
I,
plans are public too, some of them are.
yeah.
Uh,
I
may,
do
may,
hope.
go ahead, Greg.
Go ahead. Oh, I say I
Uh,
do hope that you're correct and that we have plans, because that area represents a lot of opportunity for agriculture. It it represents means of reducing some of the congestion within the Belize city and some of the other districts like Sand Creek and some of the other ones, where we could move population out into areas where there's more land and more opportunity to develop an agricultural base, because that's where we really have an advantage to supply food to Guatemala and to the rest of the Caribbean in many ways that could help our balance of payment and could help provide employment for our young people. So the focus needs to be the training of these young people and and recognizing and building infrastructure to support their movement in those spaces so that it's not so rural and isolated so that nobody don't want to be out there. That's part of it. And you know, Belize is a country that's sparsely populated, and to try, you know, I think Honduras has 3 million people and like about the same size population, the same land area, and even smaller than Belize. And so we are at a disadvantage with 400,000 people in terms of trying to find economic scale to do things. So, but we can make an assertive and a planned decision where we start building out into some of those areas and create population growth and stuff. And some of the people may be people from Central America, maybe people from other Caribbean countries, but we need to make the effort and the planning. And that's where our country and our government fail, successive governments. They fail to do any planning and projection of what we want to see the country look like 25 years from now, 50 years from now,
Right,
100 years from
right.
now. That is something we don't seem to be able to capture at all.
Long-term planning, long-term
Yes,
development planning.
yes,
Yeah.
And yeah, I so agree. And to get the diaspora involved too, Mike, because policy includes how we want to grow schooners, whether from within with the native born Belizeans or by increasing the amount of passports and nationalities that they issue to the triangular Guatemalan. I know they have the most difficulty policy wise to get nationality, Salvadorian and Honduranian, right? Because it's true, those groups are increasingly making up the population and changing then the face of Belize, right? But our policy towards the diaspora is equally important, whether we want to grow from within, you know, and giving them the vote. I mean, all those things I don't want to raise, I open the can of the worm, but we have to make some decisions, not like crab antics, man. We have to look at
Uh, uh,
sustainable development.
do you think that if we reached out to the diaspora and said, look, we wanna live together anyway. How about us developing a few villages along that border with you guys, where you could come in. We'll give you land, we'll give you areas to live and farm if you want to, but we want to develop that area. Do you think they'd be receptive to such an idea? Could we get enough people to buy into it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But we have
Well,
to
we could give it a
it
try.
has to be we have to instill the confidence by giving them incentive and guarantees. We give guarantees to the Ashcrafts, you know, that
Yeah.
if we give guarantees, you know, to the we have like the main industries. One time it was agriculture, so whenever the citrus or the banana can make them bill, we pay, and the cane farmers, we be doing that. So government has to put its weight behind the policy, right? If you are saying to the diaspora, you know, we really are courting you and giving you this option, you know, people have to feel good about it. And they want to come home. I mean, my brother is coming next month. I mean, he's not younger than, he's just a year younger than a lot of, what I'm saying is that to me, what is holding back a lot of people is they don't feel welcome. They feel
I
like, you know, they don't feel welcome.
I think that this goes back to what the conversation we had, was it last week or week before, with the prescriptions that you need for birth control and whatnot, when I suggested we might be encouraging promiscuity, but more than that, as opposed to getting rid and stopping that birth, maybe we need to be encouraging the birth rate for us to build our country, because 400 people is not a lot indeed. in particular for the size of a landmass that we sport. I think we should be encouraging more children, and even if the government has to come up with a program where they will help mothers that can't afford to take care of these children, free health care, free daycare, and stuff like that, until these children can go and again, a shift in our education where we encouraging them and pushing them more towards agriculture as
Yeah,
opposed to this technological stuff. No,
yeah.
all of them got the skill and the know-how to navigate the computer and the internet. But what else can they do? I mean, you know, very little of them can put a seed in the ground and make it grow. So
No,
maybe we could look at that. Anyway, yeah.
yeah, no,
Great.
we do need to kind of figure out as a country, we need as a policy to determine where is our advantage, what advantages we really have. So far, we are going
Competitive
heavy.
advantages.
So far, we are going heavy on tourism, which is a we see how finicky that is.
It's
COVID showed
fragile.
us.
It's fragile.
Yeah, COVID showed us. Uh,
Yeah.
um, U.S. policies tells us that with one click,
Yeah.
the spigot could be turned off.
Call centers too. Fragile. Fragile
Yes,
industry.
yes, yes. All those are very fragile. And so our government needs to start doing long-term planning. You know,
Correct.
long-term planning costs money and it doesn't show immediate reward. Politicians like when they walk up to a big call center and cut the ribbon and 2,000 people walk in and 2,000 people start getting checks. It's not going to be so immediate with these other long-term issues of agriculture and industrial development and
Yeah, they
forestry.
have to put some work in. They have to put the
Exactly.
sacrifice. Yeah.
Well,
There's
you see, we must have all the options out there because right now we have limited options. And when we are serious about freeing up education at the college level, and then we allow the students to get into the technology, that will answer a lot of questions. Who are going to agriculture, make them do it? Where they stop them? Who are going to, engineering or science? In other words, put all the options out there and let individuals, you know, become the best version of themselves. But the thing that AI can duplicate the experience. And that's where we are weak in our education. That's why a lot of PhDs are filing out of work. Because I only do that quote, but they're not original. The man make AI, so you're not smarter than a man. What we need to do is get experience so we can speak from experience. I mean, I want my grandson at 8 years old to be a part of my business with the AI knowledge.
Yeah. All right. You know what? Maybe we shift conversations to a few other things now. There, I got in trouble on Facebook as usual. Not with Jeremy, I don't think he got anything to say about it. But there's a case in Belmopan where one man drunk the next man, drag her in a bush and take it bate. You heard about that?
No.
And that's what I did. I laugh. They say, "Oh, I am insensitive," and I'm saying, "Why you gonna get so drunk that somebody could do that to you? So you have to share some of that burden, some of that blame. How drunk can you get for somebody to do that to you? And after like the first 2, 3 drinks, don't you see where that's going? You have some, and we tend to try to excuse people from that self responsibility, that responsibility that they have, that personal responsibility to ensure that things like that don't happen to you. If it happens to you, the whole world can't stop and cry and bleed their heart, man. We have to learn from the mistake and move on. And unfortunately, poor fellow, he'll never walk the same again, no? But
Well, there was a case I remember just recently. I think it got dismissed where a doctor was accused of putting something in a
oh
colleague's
yes, right.
drink,
And in fact, I thought he was. I think he was caught on camera doing it.
yes, yes,
Oh, that was the Chinese guy. Wasn't it? He was doing acupuncture and putting him to
no, no,
sleep.
no,
With
no.
him.
No, no,
That's
this
another
guy was
one.
at the
That's another
bar.
one. Then that's another
Yeah,
one.
This one was
yeah,
a Cuban doctor, I think.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. At the bar, and he was. You could
Yeah,
see him take the
yeah.
needle and inject
You
something,
know, yeah.
and the girl complained about being molested after that. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it was a
great.
guy. It was a guy. It was a guy.
Well,
And
a
then
guy.
we had the case recently that got dismissed with OJ on a similar type of thing. We have to
Oh
take
yeah,
the fact of the infringement on another person's liberty seriously when they become intoxicated
Intoxicated.
intoxicated.
or
The,
or some impugned by
but all
substance.
right, we're talking about date rape and stuff, date rape and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
again, though, we have to look on both sides of the story because there are usually both sides to those stories.
yeah.
Um,
But you still can't. Yes, the
yeah,
individual.
I'm not saying you're going to victimize the victim. No,
Yeah,
I'm not saying that. I am saying that maybe that education,
Preventative.
indeed, the education might be missing that from that too. That a girl will have to understand. I'm not going to nobody house if I know if one of my girlfriends not there with me. If I'm not going to see if the valve open here where I could get escape through. But for me to just uh, uh, recklessly and throw myself in there with reckless abandon, I might set myself up for harm.
yeah.
So it
No, no,
shouldn't happen. It should not
no,
happen,
yeah.
but don't leave the door open.
Well,
I,
yeah.
I,
Of course, there's always a level of personal responsibility and culpability in these things, but it doesn't, like you said, exalt the person that did it. They are still fully blamed to be blamed, and they are responsible, and they should be held accountable. And
Yeah.
and and we hope that as these things become public, people are learning, and it seems like they don't learn. But we hope that people are becoming more aware, families are becoming more conscious, and they could inform their young people. And sometimes these people are not so young that get caught up in these things. You go,
correct,
wow,
correct. They
Yeah.
should know better.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
we have to be aware that there are some sick people out there, and I think with our kids, my daughter
But
and
if
my
they are, and they
um,
are,
we have to
then
warn them about
the
it.
business in treatment, the business to be getting their treatment.
Hold up, I'm glad. Let Jeremy finish his thought. Go,
No,
go,
just
Jeremy.
saying that the reality is that we have to accept that there are some sick people out there, and they will take advantage of our young people. And so I think it's the responsibility of the parents, and or maybe at school also they should have a social class that makes young people aware, both female and male, especially the female, because they seem to be the ones that are abused the most than male. But that's where I think the education should come in from the home first, and then maybe the schools can take over from there too.
Yeah,
Because it was really funny. My son, long time ago, he was young, but at his school, BES, and also on the TV, there used to be a lot of programs that said good touch and bad touch and all of that.
yes,
right.
And we
yes,
were
yes,
educated, just like they tell them about how cigarettes are bad and so on.
yes.
And he told me that somebody at the house was looking at him very strangely,
Mm,
and he was uncomfortable. So I said, "Aha, well, this is the time for me to have a little talk with him." So I started to talk to him about, don't let anybody touch you where you don't want them to touch you. And I was going on, and eventually he tapped me and said, Dad, I know what you're telling me. This is very embarrassing, but I know exactly what you're telling me. So he was
yeah,
getting education,
yes,
probably from his mother also, and also from the school.
yes, yes,
But he was able to sense that something might not be.
yes.
Yeah, he said the guy was looking at him very strangely and he made it uncomfortable.
Yeah.
he would not have wanted to get drunk with that guy. All right. So listen, tomorrow is May Day, Labor Day in just about every country except America and Canada.
Yes.
They celebrate their Labor Day in September.
Yes.
I wonder why. Got a whole history of
Well,
Labor
it's
Day.
because of the Russian. Remember, they didn't want to have the same kind of celebration as Russia because they're communists and we're capitalists. So that's what brought it about that we had a different Labor Day celebration
But
than
you know what started Labor Day celebration? It started, I think it was Chicago with the Haymarket riots,
yes,
and
yes,
it was in May. And
yes,
in
yes.
fact,
We changed it. We changed it.
yeah, and I'm wondering why you think they changed it to September?
That's what I'm telling you. It's because we wanted to be anti to. It's just like how we changed the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday because the Catholics wanted to make sure they were not the same as the Protestants. So
And the Muslims, of course.
as the Muslims, I'm sorry, as the
Yeah.
Muslims. So these kind of political sway and moves are always at play. And I think someone told me we changed it some long time ago was because the Russians had Labor Day, and we didn't want to be still
I think I'm
holidays.
more I think I'm more than that. I think that because of the connection with those same riots in which a number of police officers were killed and quite a number of people, and in fact, and they had jailed a number of individuals and even hanged a couple of them. One of them had committed suicide, and all of that later on was found that the judge might have been in error, and that in fact he had no right because there was a demonstration and somebody threw a bomb which resulted in the police just going crazy and shooting guns all over the place. And many believe that they killed their own people. So, no animal directive or anything, but apparently they were responsible for the death of those people, and then they wanted to close that case and just arrested people right, left, and center, and we're handing out life sentences and death sentences. There were crazy things that they wanted to distance themselves from that and push it. Well, and they needed a holiday between Thanksgiving and 4th of July, no?
Uh,
So that was right about there. Um, Gentlemen, I mean, want to spend a little time and talk about an event. I don't talk enough about our activities in the park. We're having a big event this tomorrow, this May Day. And in fact, we've celebrated May Day throughout the years. And a couple of years ago, I was approached by this young man, Wayne Moody, who told me that his father's birthday, his father was a famous football player in Belize, and it was also his birthday. So he said he wanted to do football tournaments in his honor, and that is what is happening tomorrow. We, Jeremy, have to stop by and watch a couple of the games.
Okay. What time does it start?
The football will be in the afternoon from 1. In the mornings, we got some little bike races with the kids and whatnot. We've closed off the street. I was trying to get a couple of derelict vehicles off. The persons who are still hopeful about the money I could get there off, no? So the kids could have the run on the street. We're closed off from Curacao till the boulevard until 12 o'clock, from 9 till 12. And then from 12, it'll be just from Seagull to the boulevard. If you're familiar with Ali Street, that turns off half a Gibnut. But
What will you be doing on the street? It's going to be activities on the street that you have to close it off?
yes, we're gonna have the bicycle races
Oh,
on
okay.
the street, and there'll be kids like 10 or 11 that a lot of them are in the neighborhood and ride their bike and like to ride their bike and race each other anyway. Many times, it a hazard because of course the traffic on the street. So without the traffic on the street, they will have to have only fun time, no? The football game now, we have a team for Esperanza that had visited us already, and they're looking for vengeance. They're going to be playing. We have 4 teams in every division, on the 13, on the 15, on the 17. And I want to thank the guys from Amadea. Amadea run a basketball league, as far as you know, but they're into community projects and whatnot. So they have given us some trophies for the first place in each division, and also assisting with water and ice. The Moody's have been working hard, in particular Therese Moody, who is the daughter to this gentleman too. She has been, and we're gonna have barbecue, and we're not selling anything. That's just on celebration on May Day. We're not gonna have a maypole, which is something that we had the first couple of years. It wasn't not easy, you know. Have you ever planted a maypole in there, you guys?
No,
I started when I was a little kid.
I saw it done, and when it's done properly, it's amazing. So we're
it
doing
is
that.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have a greasy pole, man. You have to try climb it too.
Boy, that I know that I think that's best done over sea. Remember they used to have it at the Belcan Bridge?
Yes.
They had it over the river, and guys were going out to try to get a hammer at the end of the. Yeah, that's big fun. But we're hoping to have as fun with the kids and some sack race and lime and spoon. That's the thing for keep them engaged and develop camaraderie and have them enjoy a day, you know, at the expense
Yes,
of our
yes.
donors. We have a number of people that have been helping us out. And again, the Moody's have been busy. I have a couple of friends of mine, a good friend, Steen, Patrick Steen, and his beautiful wife Sharon. They sent us a couple of hundred for, and we give out some good prizes. We give $500 first prize, as a matter of fact,
Wow.
for the big football tournament. Then
Oh,
the younger ones will get 300 and 200 respectively, you know, for first, along with trophies. So this going to be, we're going to have Brad Patico in performance. We got some Garifuna drummers coming in, and we got a lead boy with Brad the Brad boat that dances a Mayan dance that he said he has been able to develop on tune for it too. So that should be interesting.
wow. Wow.
Uh, if we're gonna be there from nine tomorrow morning until, well, you know, it gets dark a little later these days, so it's all
Yes,
the way
yes, yes.
about 6:30, 7. So if any Simona, you're wrong, Percy. If you're not in the city, where you live, Percy?
But what are you not the city? Are you not the city?
Drop by, man. Drop by and watch one of the ball game there. I think you enjoyed it. You'll be impressed with them, with the type of talent that's there. And it's unfortunate we don't have that algorithm in place, the stepping stone, to allow them to see something more at the end up there. They kind of like play ball down here, and after a while, that's it. I know they have a semi-pro league and whatnot, but the whole infrastructure is not conducive to the development that we need to compete. Say, for instance, like other small countries, you have countries, well, Jamaica leads everything in track and field. Um, with Dominican Republic the other day did well in football. There are a number of small nations that do extremely well because they have the infrastructure in place to develop the talent. Here we have a lot of talent. We're loaded with talent. The coaches will tell you that the biggest problem is discipline, getting them to work out, getting them to stick with a regimen, getting them to even show up on game day. That was, that
Mm-hmm.
was a tough
And
situation.
that's what sport teaches people. That's exactly what it teaches you. It teaches you the discipline of training, the discipline of being accountable, the teamwork, and also the discipline of being able to work cooperatively with others. That
Yeah.
that that is so. When we fail to encourage our young people in sports, we fail to give them that necessary growth dimension that they need that helps them live in an organized community and society.
It does build character. It builds
Yeah.
character in people.
Except that,
But you
except
know,
that
go ahead.
I love G Mike's approach. He inspires them to love, you know, work and not see work as hard. Instead of the colonial and military style, of top down, do the following: when to shine, when to shave, when to this, when to. You inspire them so that discipline, love for work becomes resilience as it grows. And that's what G Mike is doing as I follow him, which I love that, you're inspiring the kids. You know,
You know
you use the hard and soft, but you're inspiring them. Huh?
the major problem, major problem we have is that for us to build any kind of structure, you have to have a solid foundation. And this might be what's missing, that foundation that comes from home, from the
Yeah,
cradle. Those parents need to be
yeah,
instilling in their children and pointing them in the
yeah,
right direction. You can't just left them make them go any way they want. And this time problem with I find with a lot of parents, in particular in
yeah.
poor areas, where you touch
Yes,
them, pick
yes,
them
yes.
and kill you. You even talk hard to them,
Wow,
then it come out of you. But they, when
wow.
they're at home now, they not spend the time and then they show the kind of love, they show the protection,
Yeah,
they show the bravado that anybody mess with you, we'll take care of them. But what about spending the
yeah.
time for listen to the child? You know what I mean?
Can I ask you,
Sad, sad.
do you get good parent participation? Do the fathers come out and watch their sons play football, or the mother or the sisters and brothers? Do you get that kind of
Yes.
participation?
Uh-huh.
No, it's dismal. It's dismal.
Okay, all right.
No. I don't. And I've been trying to get that. And like I said, they will come
Mhm.
out quickly if they hear somebody faster than pick me. They'll come out 4 or 5 of
Aye,
them. But while they
aye.
with a game going on, no, we usually just have the kids uh, uh, with
Mm.
competing with each other. No,
Yeah.
I wish I could find the secret to do that. I've tried to. We
Yes,
we had a good
yes,
thing going before COVID.
yes.
COVID mashed up more than we know. COVID really
Yeah.
put
There was a long dry spell there with COVID. True.
yeah. We I don't think we've recovered yet. We have
Would
not recovered.
You know,
I just came across an idea just would maybe your kids that come there frequently, the ones that are always there, is
Right.
there any way that you can reach out to the parents, and what you do is you have like a meeting at the court there and you just talk to them, try to instill something in them to be there to support their children?
I've tried that.
You have, okay.
And I won't stop. I won't stop trying that.
Okay.
you, you,
Um,
you,
Yeah.
but
I
you
was
know
going.
what? Everybody is so busy, boy, and I hate busy people. You ever
Yeah.
see somebody was just busy being busy? I mean, I can understand if you're
Right.
really busy, but how can you be busy all the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
You
Yeah,
know,
go ahead.
there are little secrets to engage people, particularly family. And probably sometimes people like to see if you give them a task. Oh, I want you to do this for me for this time. And you know, that brings them out rather than just come out and watching. Have a assigned task for them to help with something and let them know what that task will be beforehand. I'd like to recruit you to come and do this for an hour,
Uh,
What,
watch the kids
what,
and do something. And sometimes I find that that type of involvement is easier to get them out than to say, "Come and watch your kid run up and down." You kind of get
you would
that.
think that you wouldn't have to tell them to come out and watch their kids run up and down,
I
right?
know, but I'm saying,
But yeah, I see what you're saying. And in fact, I try some of that tomorrow because I got a couple of the parents that tell him we have to be on the road to make sure the kids not run off on the side and whatnot.
yeah,
So
yeah,
make sure that
yeah,
they're okay.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
so
yeah.
because that just it's small ones. We have a bunch of them where like riding bike up and down the street, and I just and they're excited. All of they're
Yeah.
really excited about it. So they listen.
Yeah.
And then at the park, they practice with their bike, whatnot. A couple of them had them problem with their bike, so we try to fix it up and get that ready. But that now that I think that that the age group that we have to reach for,
Yeah.
the ones that can still listen to you,
Yes.
because anytime you hear them jump 15, 16,
Yeah.
you will get to a call. Yeah,
Yeah, adult, young adult.
The attitude.
yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? That much stare. That much stare. You look on there and then like, you either have to decide to carry this the limit or back off and left this alone. And for the most part, that's the safest way. Because you can't, I mean, that kids that they're not yours.
Yeah.
And they're done gone. You know, then the parents could talk to them. So what do you think you could do?
Have you seen that? Because you're doing an incredible job, and I see what you're doing, and a lot of us recognize the good work that you are doing. Do the kids feel an ownership into the Charlie Burton Park? Do they feel that it's theirs and they want to protect it, keep it clean, don't damage the basketball court, just to keep it? Do they feel they're part of it? Do they feel they want to take ownership of it, that it's their park? Do you see any of that in them?
In a word, no.
Okay.
In a word, no. And I might have be failing in that because I tend to go out there myself, try to set an example, clean it up, but they come out and then drink their ideal and show them the bag, then eat their food and left the plate there, which I tell them that will mess them up because it harbors ants and roach and rats and snakes. So, but I'll give you a story that broke my heart today. The guy, Wayne, that I tell you is doing it in honor of his father, and he and his sister got some sodas and some cases with some Gatorade and Powerade and whatnot, and brought it. And at the time they came, a couple of the kids were here, regulars, and he said, I tell them, well, make we help the guy bring them in, and them guy, no, can help me. And when the guy come back in, he brought to me one pack of the Gatorade, with about 12 in the case. And he said he had to climb the fence to find it because one of the kids then threw that over the fence. That I have to pick up later. And he said, I could see the hurt in my eyes, you know what I'm saying? He said, because this is for Uno. Yeah. For Uno, I bring this weekend with the hustlers for Uno. We don't get nothing out of this right here then. Because everything we get, every little pennies that they donate, we're going to put into prizes. Again, the lady that come from Esperanza, I'm hoping to give her a few dollars towards her trip tomorrow. So, and we do it based upon how much we get then. You know, in particular like this, there wasn't a widespread appeal. I have a couple of friends that I approached. In fact, Jeremy will tell you I usually go to him, and this time I didn't. So I wonder. All right. Are you guys here? Phone ringing?
No, I think that's my phone just doing a message. I got
that's my phone. I can't get that. I was wondering. It's actually Brad's who's going to be a part of the entertainment, and I'm thinking maybe he was trying to get on the show, but you can't get on the show like that. You have to, and those folks out there who want to be a part of the show like Percy is tonight, they have to get a link. And this is what CY does. CY send out the link to individuals who want to be on the show. Because, of course, we get our links regularly. We are at the panel and whatnot. And it's not a call-in show and such, which maybe if we could get one of the TV stations to pick it up, no? And then be able to interact with the public more like that would be okay. Of course, nobody wants to do anything without that money. We have to operating costs is what it is.
You know what you're saying about the disappointment and the attitude of the kids when you're trying to do the best for them. It rings a bell with my staff when I open up my cafe and so on, that same attitude goes right into them when they're employed.
Yeah,
Is that,
yeah.
it's sad, they
They
take,
don't take ownership.
yeah,
And in your case, in that case, that's their daily bread.
yeah,
Because they don't seem to understand that if this doesn't prosper, you're not gonna get paid. You're not gonna have a job.
yeah.
But
What I find ironical is that the women will complain about that they don't feel like then they get well paid and they can't support them picnic. They say, I'm a single mother, I got 3 picnic, I got 5 picnic, whatever, how many they have. But you watch weekend come and you come in on Monday, new hairstyle, fingernails, and of course they've probably bought an outfit and so on. So that I don't know. There's no. I
priority,
don't.
man, priority,
Sorry.
priority.
Yeah, they don't put their priority. Us, I know for me when I had my son, priorities for them.
Yeah.
My decisions are made on him
Well,
or
they
my
say
daughter.
there's a saying that when you have children, you stop living for yourself and
Yeah,
start living for the
yeah.
children.
We bring them into this world. We need to be responsible for them. So,
Yeah.
how do we break through to that attitude? Because that's probably how they get into gangs. I noticed that as a senior citizen, the way those young kids deal with us senior citizens out there is totally disrespectful. We would never
But
do that.
that's not how. Now why not? Because your son is not like that. He didn't join a gang. He's not disrespectful. I know Frank well,
Yeah,
and like you, he's a very pleasant guy, no.
yeah,
But I guess the way to do it is just like what you did. Put your child as a priority and spend some time talking to him. Spend some
yeah,
time to explain to him. And what I try to do with my kids, I show them, I say, you know what, you got two people out there. There's a bum and a successful person. Which do you want to be? Because at the end of the day, that's just a choice, a simple choice. It's not going to be easy. When just fall in and play, everything don't fall. Every day gonna be lovely day. There'll be days when it'll be tough, and there'll be days when I have to dig in and put in an extra effort. But
yeah,
but it's life because
yeah,
it's for everybody. But at the end of the day, the best result comes from the good choice that you make,
yeah,
the choice to stick with it and move forward. No.
yeah, yeah. Have any of the older kids that used to come to you now that they're older come back and help you or volunteer to help you? Any of the older boys?
And again, I wish it asked the questions that it'd be wonderful to have affirmative answers to those.
Okay, okay,
But I was speaking to one of the one product that the guy that I'm proud of today. He's now a full-fledged mechanic, and in fact, he was around the park, and I got his first job for him with a guy that does transmissions and stuff. And now he's work. I stopped by with him to work today, and he's working on his own. The boss actually feel comfortable enough to leave him there now, and he's been this about what 5 years. He's in the trade now. In fact, he was planning on going to the States, and he had that fever, hot. And I tried to tell him, I said, son, you're going to States, but maybe you need to have something to carry with you. You have a trade. If you have a trade, you can make money anywhere in the world. But if you
yeah,
just go, there are thousands of people who look for job every day. The competition will be
Right.
tough. But if you're good at something, you got one advantage. You got one inside track. So
yeah,
I'm proud of that. And I tell you, while the disappointments are many, the few successes that I've seen and the benefit from this program is what keeps me going and makes it worthwhile. And a funny thing because after we found the cartoon drinks and we know who did it, we knew exactly who it was. And I told, and in fact, one of the players on the football team, our main football team. So I tell him, you know what, you can't play tomorrow. You have to understand that there are consequences to actions, and we can't just allow this to go like that. And then the lady now, that the guy who we were honoring daughter said to me, Shari, you know what? Sometimes I don't know when the kids they go through, and maybe we could try with them
Yeah.
and make it play, but just sit down and have a good talk with
Yes.
them.
Yes.
I don't know. You agree with that, Greg?
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was gonna say. If he has the face and the spirit to show up tomorrow, I think you should talk to him and tell him that what he did was wrong. But because he showed up and that shows like a repentance, you let him
He's
play.
gonna show up because he wants to play. He likes to play football.
Okay. Yeah,
He
and then
loves
I think,
football.
yeah, because like the young lady said, you don't know what they're going, and you don't know what value system they come from. He saw
Yeah,
something and he thought I could just take that, you know. But he
yeah,
needs to
yeah, yeah.
realize, he needs to be realized, and what you're giving him is a mentorship now, and if you push it too hard, you kind of discourage them from trying. So we have to
But I,
play.
I want, I want touch. I want
Yeah,
tough touch and go.
yeah,
He's not gonna start. I'll tell you that.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I think a good suggestion would be is to talk to him, try to find out why would he do something like that. Does he understand what he did? I'm a little bit. I hate to be a little bit of a cynic, but just my experience with the cafe, um, uh, the type of people I got for the photo lab that I had my photography, they were a different caliber than the ones that you get for your cafe. And I have helped so many of them, and they always disappoint you. You make breaks for them, and you say, "All right, well, I'm getting a break," and but I try not to be cynical, and that's why maybe I'm saying here that
No, no, but
maybe
it's hard. It's hard. You have to be realistic also. I
yeah.
maybe
understand.
just find out why he
Um,
did it. Maybe let
but
him
but
know
but
that what he did was
no,
wrong.
no, it's obvious why he did it because he thought he could get away with it.
Yeah,
And you know me, the guys are thirsty and want something to drink. I want to
yeah,
go carry Lisa's, that's something to
Yeah.
drink. He did it because he wanted to try to get that sell some money, to sell it for get some money.
Okay.
Um, there were he's from the hood, from deep hood.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and not from a stable family either. So
yeah,
normally
And
that kind of the telltale signs, you know.
yeah,
the young people of Belize scare me. I've noticed a viciousness of them. We just had recently the poor guy
Callous,
from delivery of Zeta being murdered, just shot.
callous, yeah, callous.
Callous is the word.
They, they,
Then you
they,
had those
they're
poor
too willing
kids
to
with
kill.
the horses in the Port Loyola area where they
yeah,
just killed
yeah,
a young boy like
Right.
that.
But
Just so callous.
how about the house where the young boy just chop? Then
yeah,
Oh yeah,
Philip mommy
yeah,
the other day to chop up the
yeah,
house.
yeah,
yeah.
There's like no heart, and you know what? Someone is pointing out to me today that as times get tougher, it's gonna get worse
yes,
because there's some of them
yeah,
that they can't take the hard life. They can't. They don't know about the sacrifice of grin and beer.
yeah.
They figure they're supposed to go get it whichever way they want, and no matter who falls as a consequence.
Yeah.
And
They're suffering trauma. Some of these kids are actually like in a sort of a war zone type of a environment where there's real trauma in their life, and they really are can't have empathy or care for anyone or anything else, and they just see whatever is out there as something they should have, and they want to seize it regardless.
the
And so,
question, the question though, Greg, is should the rest of society suffer for that? Um,
Well,
what,
well,
what,
well,
what are they? Go ahead, Percy.
well, you see, you're the visionary of a very good program. The parents are BSing, so basically, people with volunteer spirit and heart have to join you to for the program to succeed. You can't rely on the parents; they're not there. Then you can't have expectations because of the nature of that population you have chosen to work with. You can't have expectation. It's just you're an outpouring
But you have to
of
have hope.
volunteer.
I could
Well,
say one. I
see,
could,
you
yeah,
have to
yeah.
have experts like retirees. We're trained in counseling and so on. Like the young man, whoever did take the creator thing, that person should be required to go to the counselor and spend some time with the counselor.
And you know that area, I must say that I got a lot of friends that believe in the program, that they see what's happening and see that there's an effort being made. And I do. I get uncomfortable with the kudos and whatnot because I always tell people I feel like I gotta watch something happen. I don't necessarily to make nothing happen. But a lot of people have been supportive and have come forward that from time to time I said, G Mike, when he will do any program that I try to come up with and reach out, I get a lot of help from people. So in that regard, people want to see it succeed. And I would like to see it replicated in other areas of town. I'd like to see other people finally open lot, build a Lee Park, and try to give the kids a space to play. Guys,
Yes. We need the country need more like what you are doing. The outreach, the charity outreach. Sure. Sure.
And I believe, but we'll see it. We'll see because the city council I think now is taking notice. What do you think about the mayor's son-in-law for mayor? Anybody can tell us on that before we go quickly?
Well, people always go to the people they know the closest to tap on the shoulder. Sometimes we think it's a dynasty in politics, and for Belize, it has been one pretty much as we look at it politically.
It has happened. However, I have a question. Yeah, go ahead quickly.
Your kids, my kids, the mayor's kids and in-laws, they're not part of the Belizean fabric. They deserve jobs. They deserve to eat. They deserve a space. So I'm saying that we should be reasonable. No, as long as the mayor go through a process, one democratic process of his peers or his councillors that are also elected, decide, okay, this guy will be the guy. That is all. That is all from where I'm sitting.
It'll take more than that. It'll take more than that. For him to be mayor, he has to be elected as mayor, not by his peers, but by the general public. So I think the people have to decide that.
Yes, but to be given the nod, in other words, who will represent? To go through the small thing before you get to the public. The nomination. Then the nomination.
I hear you. I think the biggest question should be: is he qualified? And the mayor saying that he's worked with him closely and he see the qualities in him that would be a good mayor.
I missed the story. I'm sorry, I missed the story.
Yeah,
I thought that young lady Candice Pitts was going to be running for the mayorship of the city this time out. I don't know if that was not the cards that she's playing or not her intention, but I thought that was something she was going to be focused.
Or would she make a good mayor?
She has the experience, she has the technical, she has the international experience after serving as our ambassador for 5 years to see what.
Oh, the young lady who was our ambassador in Taiwan. Okay.
Right. Yeah. But
she has outgrown.
Be a professional.
Again.
But she's probably looking at bigger things, man.
Again.
Yeah, but I'm talking to start.
Again.
I know there isn't anything there.
Again, Spooner will jump on me because the staunch UDP family, Pitts, and I said Pitts, the red, and my friend Gregory. Anyway, listen, guys, that's it. We've come to the end of the show. Thanks thanks Percy for joining us tonight. And guys, enough love of them. A happy May Day weekend. I'll see you two guys tomorrow, Spooner and
I'm gonna give it my best shot. Yeah.
Clark, right?
We missed Joe tonight. I don't know where he's at.
I know he must be Placencia chilling in the salt water. See why? We're done here.
All right, gentlemen. Good night.
Good night. If I know the man may give extra time, we're going to talk more about the mayor, right?
Yeah.
Because he fall asleep at the wheel back there now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, all right. See why later, man.
All right. Good night,
All right,
everybody.
guys.
Okay.
No, he usually cut way off.
Yeah.